Hi, this video is about how to avoid junk food. In another video, I was asked the question of what to do about fat cravings. And this person tends to get them at night, and it tends to be for really fatty foods like chips or chocolate bars. So I want to talk about what we can do to avoid those cravings and what to do if we actually get them. So we want to avoid fatty foods because fat stores as fat in our body. The fat that we eat is the fat that we wear, and not only does it contribute to being overweight, but it does contribute to other diseases like diabetes and heart disease and cancer. So you want to be avoiding junk when you can. So my first tip would be to go high carb, low fat vegan and to eat whole plant foods until you're satiated. So most of my viewers are already vegan and are already high carb, so we're mostly on the same page. But if you're not, that would be the first step. You need to eliminate the meat, dairy and eggs and fill up on the carbs, because those are the foods that will help you to stay satisfied until the next meal. And you can't underestimate on how much you're eating. A lot of plant foods are high in fiber and high in water content, so you're going to feel more satiated than you would with meat or dairy or fatty foods like oil-filled pastry or other packaged foods. So what I do is I have 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch and dinner, and I generally don't have any snacks. I only have snacks if there's going to be a really long period of time before lunch and dinner. I normally don't have any morning tea, anything like that. So I have a breakfast of at least 700 calories. I'm 50 kilograms, last time I checked. I haven't really weighed myself for years, but I'm just guessing that I'm 50 kilograms. So for someone like me, eating 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day would be fine. Especially if it's from healthy foods. I won't get fat doing that. So I have about 700 calories to even up to 1,000 calories for breakfast. And I would have that in the morning around 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning. And that will carry me for 3 to 5 hours until I have lunch. And then for lunch, I would do the same thing. I would have 700 to 1,000 calories for lunch. Normally it's about 800 calories for lunch. It depends on how hungry I am and also how much I had for breakfast. So if I had less for breakfast, I probably would have more for lunch. Or if I know that I'm going to be having dinner a bit later, I'll have more for lunch, so I know that I'm not going to be ravenous by the time it's dinner time. And then for dinner, I would also have a high carb, low fat, plant-based meal. And you can look at my what I eat in a day videos to get an idea of the kind of food that I eat and how much of it I eat. That's the first tip, to go high carb vegan. The second tip is, if possible, don't have any junk food in the house. Just fill your house or fill your pantry and your fridge and your freezer with healthy whole foods. So in addition to fruits and vegetables, I buy pasta, beans, cans of beans. If I buy any snacks at all, they'd just be those rice crackers, low fat. I don't really eat them a lot. So I buy the kind of things that I can make meals of, high carbohydrate meals. And I also go to the Asian shop and I get rice noodles. So fill up your pantry with the good food that you will not feel guilty eating. If you're still struggling after doing all that, my next tip would be to find healthy snack alternatives. By that I mean to find alternatives that are low in fat and low in salt if possible. Because the food that you're craving, it's not that you're craving the fat in the food necessarily. Fat is high in calories, so maybe that is the reason that it's so tempting. Like when you combine the fat with the carbs and you put it all in your body, it gives you that feeling like you've just had a lot of calories, and that's what your body wanted. But you don't want to be filling your body with oil. If you think about it, you're not craving a cup of oil. You're not craving a teaspoon of oil to eat. So it's not the oily component of the food really that you want. It's kind of the taste and the texture that you're craving for, or that you're missing after transitioning to a whole foods plant-based diet. So what I encourage you to do is think about, what is it about the food that you crave? If it's not the fatty component of the food, what is it exactly? It could be the chocolate taste, it could be the sweet taste, it could be the creamy texture or the crunchy texture. So think about those components that are appealing to you and try to find an alternative that satisfies what you desire in that junk that you are wanting to eat. So for example, if you're craving ice cream, dairy ice cream, there's a lot of recipes for banana ice creams, and they're pretty simple as well. All you have to do is get some frozen bananas. So you peel bananas, wrap them in foil, put them in the freezer, then you can process them in a food processor, or you can put them in a Vitamix, and you can make banana ice cream just like that. And you can add vanilla powder or cinnamon powder. You could even blend them with some dates, and that would make it sweeter. So ice cream's a really easy one to remedy. With things like potato chips, you can try making your own. I've seen recipes online for low-fat or no-oil potato chips, and I think Potato Strong does some recipes like that. And another website is by Veronica Grace, who does low-fat vegan recipes, and she shows a recipe for fat-free chips. So if that's the kind of thing that you crave, then maybe it's good to try to learn to make your own. If you're too lazy to do that, which I usually am, I would just eat rice crackers instead. So it's that crunchy taste, or that crunchy texture that I want, and that savory taste. So that's good enough for me. Also, you could learn to find some healthy store-bought alternatives. So it depends where you live on what's available. In Australia, there's not really as much range as in the US. In the US, I saw that there were some baked chips that were 20% of calories coming from fat. So that's still a little bit high, but it's not as bad as the standard brands and the standard fried chips. So that's another alternative. The only thing is that they can be quite expensive and that they're high in salt, so you can't really control what flavors you put on them. And some other healthy snack ideas are dates or dried fruit. You could make a chocolate cake. So if chocolate is the kind of food that you want, you can make a healthy chocolate cake. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's better than going and eating a chocolate bar that's got dairy in it, or one that's high in fat. So I don't bake a lot, but I do have a recipe for low-fat orange chocolate cake, and it was pretty good. I haven't had cake since I made that recipe, which shows that following my top 2 tips really helps. You could make some flavored oatmeal, even just as a snack. So Chris Gone Raw has some tasty oatmeal recipes, and he's got quite a variety on his channel, so you can check them out. Some other savory snacks include air-popped popcorn. You could flavor it with onion or garlic powder. You could also spray some vinegar on it. I think Potato Strong showed on his Instagram that he made some popcorn and he sprayed some vinegar on it before seasoning it, and that helps the spices or the seasonings to stick to the popcorn. So that's a really good idea. You could make hummus with veggie sticks, and you could just always have that kind of thing in the fridge, so that if you do want something just to snack on or to crunch on, then you've got that. You could also get the McDougall foods. If you're in Australia, they're pretty expensive, so that's not really the best thing to recommend. But in America, his foods aren't too badly priced. You could also snack on a handful of raw nuts. I know nuts are higher in fat, so you only want to limit them to a handful. And it's not really ideal for someone who can't control the amount that they eat. But that's another option as well. If you have any other suggestions for avoiding junk food cravings or how to deal with them, you can put them in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. I will see you in my next video. Bye!